the director, Jorge Dorado. I mean, it's your feature debut, basically. How did it actually all come about? Just fill us very briefly in on that.
About the?
Yeah, how you got to do the movie, how it all fell into your lap.
Yeah, so it's my first feature, and it was produced by Serra, and it was I did different short films and commercials before, and I wanted to do my first feature, but in my country, Spain, was so difficult. So I decided to travel to LA, and then with my short films, I got a manager who was Peter Safran, and they offered me this script. It's written by Guy Holmes, one of the screenwriters, and then we started to work together and to develop the projects until Jaume came aboard and we did the movie.
Why did he like it? Jaume Collet-Serra, the guy who did Unknown and Orphan and Nonstop, why did he like it so much?
About the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, he wanted to support new directors, to young talents to make movies, and he also wanted to make genre movies like like thrillers and horror movies, that kind of things. I think what he found in this story is the same that he found in my short films. It's a kind of strong characters and a kind of weird relationship between two characters, and that idea that this is good, this is bad, what's happening here. So that kind of Hitchcock style thriller that we made it. Kind of film noir also.
I was going to say that it's very, very of that type of film noir. And is that what you went for? That was the look you wanted to go for?
Yeah, I was really afraid because the concept is like travel to people's memories. I was really afraid about just make one more of the movies, like TV movies. And I wanted to do something more like 90s, more close to the movies that I liked when I grow up. That's why I decided to do like kind of neo-noir film stories, a detective with a strange case, with a kind of femme fatale, who is the girl, with the kind of elements I work with.
Got to mention the DP, because it's Oscar Farrer who did The Impossible for Bayona, didn't it?
Yeah, they are fun also.
Yes. I mean, the look is very specific in this, and because you're a commercials director, you're very visual oriented anyway.
Yeah, no, we shot in 35mm, so I think it's really important also for this kind of stories. We want to do something really strong visually. And I think visual and also the story, you have to work with all the elements. And also in this story, you have different levels of memory. So you have to work and try to understand how should this look like, And as you are in the mind of the characters all the time, so you have to figure out how to tell this story visually. I think that's really important.
And just talk briefly about Mark Strong and Taissa Farmiga, who are the two leads. I mean, it is the first leading man role for Mark Strong. I mean, obviously that's why he wanted to do it, but why did you want him to do it?
I wanted him because it's like the same face all the time, but like in a new thing, And it's something that I always appreciate as also as a spectator, when I see somebody that I recognize but in a different role. And he was always playing bad guys in that biggest American movies. And I think it was a really interesting idea. And also he loved the script. I met him briefly in London a couple of years ago, and we decided to work together. It was my first feature, and also was his first feature leading a movie, so it was a great experience to work together.
And Taissa Farmiga. Had you seen American Horror Story, where she?
I've seen American Horror Story, but I don't know why at the beginning I never thought of her. It was Vera Farmiga. Her sister, who recommended us her, and I suddenly remember, the American Horror Story, and we did also briefly Skype, and we decided to work together. I think this is amazing. Yeah, it's probably happy of it.
And you told me to sort of keep the way you don't really know if she's like who she is and what she's doing. You actually made her sort of like you directed her as like a different sort of short film every time, so it'd be. You wouldn't guess what was going on. Is that correct?
Yeah, the thing is that I love actors. One of the reasons because I wanted to be a director because I love psychology and work with actors. And with Mark Strong was a different thing. It's more like speaking about the whole story, trying to understand everything, the arc of the character. But Taissa has not any information. He never went to a film school, so like a drama school or something. So for her, it was really difficult to understand the character because it's so tricky and have so many details and levels. So we decided to work scene by scene. It's like making different emotions all the time. So at the beginning, it's a little bit strange girl, but then it's like seduction, and then she's worried, and then she's kind of creepy. So and then it's the at the end I think it's the audience who is creating the character in their mind, because it's changing all the time. You are never expecting what's going to happen with this girl. And also one thing I told Thaisa is not to blink in all the scenes.
Did you notice that? She doesn't blink in any of them.
It's always the eyes like that.
It's always the eyes like that to give it sort of a very weird...
So you notice there's something strange, but you don't know where it is. It's never blinking.
Wow.
Maybe one thing I've lost.
It's all yours. Ask Jorge whatever you like. Yes.
Was there any particular reason why the movie was in English?
Why was the movie in English? Why didn't you make it in Spanish?
Good question. No, it was English at very beginning. The project started like that, so the screenwriter was American. And also you think in this, a concept like this one, like somebody who can travel people's memory, you don't think it's living in Madrid, it's living somewhere in America. But then also, I think if you want your movie to travel around the world, you have to do it in English. It's not, it's so difficult also to make distribution of that.
Does the story have any basis in reality, or is there any true story like that?
Is there any basis in any reality at all? Are we heading this way? Is there any sort of technology or anything like that?
Yeah, I think Guy Holmes and I, we did some research about. It's something that at the beginning of the TV they speak about the army making some experiments about people with psychability. That's real, not at that step, but it's real that they're trying to. It's more like working to put false memories inside people, like those kind of things. But we started with that idea and we created a whole fiction story.
Yes.
Just looking in the background of some of the scenes, there's the recurring image of eyes, open eyes. I've noticed a couple of posters in different scenes, the hospital and the prison. Just wondering if you could kind of explain that a bit.
The recurring image of open eyes.
Open eyes.
In various posters and various backgrounds, you've got the open eyes.
Yeah.
That was obviously deliberate, if you were.
Yeah, it's as the movie take place inside the people's, the John's memory. So I wanted to, it's really subtle, no? But I like with all the elements, can you tell you something, no? They're really, really subtle. And yeah, you're right, there's a lot of billboards of people looking straight, no? I like the idea is that you never know who is watching him, no? So it's, John is inside Anna's memory, but at the same time Peter Landgren is inside John's memory, and also Anna is overcoming John, no? So that's why I tried to create that kind of work.
Was that hard to actually do? I mean, to keep that in mind when you were actually directing it? Where am I? What am I doing? I assume you didn't shoot in sequence.
No.
So you sort of like thinking, was it a bit complicated?
So complicated. No, I did a chart. I actually directed the movie with a chart with like first, second, and third acts. So we had we can read the movie in all in one sheet. So that's really helpful. That you never lost yourself. And that's why I worked with Mark with that. Okay, because sometimes the first day was like you shoot a part of the scene 103 and then 2 lines of 80 and something like that. So with that chart, I never got lost. I think maybe once.
Somebody else? Yes.
You mentioned it was your first movie. You mentioned you were influenced by film noir and 90s movies. There's also a lot of symbolism and motifs in there. I was just wondering if the film that you managed to get on the screen is the one that you saw in your head, because that must have been incredibly challenging movie to make.
Is the movie on screen the one that you saw in your head?
Yeah, actually it was more darker a little bit.
Okay.
When you direct a movie, you start with your idea and then you start to, then you have Mark, you don't have any name, then you have Mark Strong, and Mark Strong have, something special, and then he's, the character is not in the paper anymore, now has a face. And the same with Thaisa, when I was thinking about a girl more darker, a little bit more like creepy, or, but then you have Thaisa, and then Thaisa is more sweet, and then so you're slightly changing your point of view, because you have to, I think what I discovered making this movie, you have to listen the movie as you are working on, no? I wanted also, more blue color in the story, but then we found that amazing house in France, so we decided to change a little bit the color of the story. So you have to be open to everything. But at the end, yes, I wanted to do more like classical movie, and noir, I think is what it is.
Firstly, just in case I'm wrong, I just wanted to ask, you did work on The Devil's Backbone, did you? As assistant director?
Yeah, I work as an assistant director.
Just wanted to ask, with your experience of working with Guillermo del Toro, was there any lessons that you learned from him, any tips or anything that inspired you to make the films that you do now?
Jorge worked as an assistant director with Guillermo del Toro on The Devil's Backbone. He also did a couple of Almodovar's as well.
Yeah, about education, and I talked to her.
So, in reference to Guillermo, did you learn anything from him?
So Guillermo is an amazing eye, so visually it's incredible. It's really good with editing and creating worlds and all that. So working as assistant director, you have the possibility to be really close to him, so that's great. So I think I learned a lot, and also he's one of the best directors I think in ever worked, because he's really nice with all the crew. And I remember I did my first short film while I was shooting that movie, and he came to the cinema and spoke with me, and he's always trying to be a kind of teacher or father around, and also we are friends now. So.
Is that Limoncello? Is that the short film?
There was one.
So last night when we were out, he was actually taking photographs of limoncello bottles.
It's a Western.
Because it was the first one. He was anybody else before we wrap this up? Anybody? No. Well, listen. I mean, the film's been a big success in Spain, hasn't it? I mean, it was open 5 weeks ago. The first.
Is it still in theatres?
It's still in theatres, and you've done very, very well. And I think it's coming out here in April, May, June. We're not sure. So please wish the movie well, because I really like it. It's one of my favourites.